Page 12, taps. At the top of the page, they talk a little bit about transposing. I'll talk about that a little more. The previous pages, they're talking about pentascales. So now we'll talk about that. Let's review first what half steps are. Half steps and whole steps, because they're important. They're kind of like the building blocks of everything. So you got to understand those. You want to understand this other stuff, sort of. A half step, simply put, is the closest distance between any two notes. In our harmonic system we use here, that's the closest distance, a half step. A whole step is simply two half steps. It's the distance. On a piano, a half step is the next key up or down, white or black. So if I'm here and I want to go up a half step, I just go to the next key up, white or black. If I go down a half step, white or black, here. If I'm here and I want to go up a half step, I go here. If I want to go down a half step, I go here. That's why I say white or black. It's the next key. That's all. That's as complicated as it gets right there. And then a whole step is two half steps. So you take, that's a half step and then that's a half step. So a whole step has one key, white or black, in between. Whole step, that's a whole step because it's got one key in between. Whole step. This is a whole step because it's got one key in between. Half steps, because I got a half step and a half step, so together it's a whole step. That's it. All right, half steps and whole steps. Well, a key, a scale, the full scale, whatever. They're talking pentascales, okay. Penta means 5. So a pentascale is simply a 5-note scale. I would prefer we use the full scale, but they're doing pentas, so okay, we'll do that. There's a set pattern of whole steps and half steps. Let's take C major because it's the white keys. On a pentascale would be the first notes, 5 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, if I look at the pattern of whole steps and half steps, here, that's a whole step. That's a whole step. That's a half step. That's a whole step. That's the pattern. Whole, whole, half, whole. That's the pattern for a pentascale, and you'll find that all the pentascales use the same pattern. We're talking a major scale. There's different kinds of scales. Let's keep this simple. So in C major, you use that pattern, whole, whole, half, whole. If you forget what the pattern is, go back to C major and look at it, because it's the white keys. You can figure out the pattern real quick. Whole, whole, half, whole. Okay, whole, whole, half, whole. Well, let's go to G major. Here, G, pentascale, it'd be the same pattern. Whole, whole, half, whole. F major has a B flat in it. They don't tell you that, but it does. There's one flat in the key signature that they won't show you key signatures yet, but there is an F major. But if we follow that pattern, we'll get it. Whole, whole, half, whole. See if we get it. And it works that way with all the scales, all of it. It doesn't matter what it is. Let's go to, find it here. Let's go to here. If I want a pentascale on that, I follow that pattern. Whole, whole, half, whole. Whole, whole, half, whole. It's a pentascale. I might not know what the scale is, but it is. I know it's that pattern. It fits. As I said earlier, the key of F major has one flat in the key signature, the B flat. So all B's are automatically flat when you're in the key of F major. They won't give you key signatures here. They're using accidentals. They're showing you the B flat, the flat sign in the music. Look at taps on the last line on measure 6. You get a B and a C, except there's a flat sign in front of the B's, so it's a B flat. That's it. You're in the key of F major here, but you can't see it from a key signature because they won't give you key signatures. I'm sure they have their reasons for that, but they're the only method book I've found so far that is doing this. All the others just give you the key signature. As far as the transposing, I'll come back to that. Let's learn this piece first. Taps. 3 lines long, It's got treble and bass clef, 4/4 time signature, and we are in the key of F major. And if you look at the notes, the right hand is, or the left hand is here. Don't forget the B flat. And the right hand is here. So you're here. And taps basically just uses the F chord. You're only going to use the F chord. The notes, remember the notes, the primary notes? Well, in F major, you got the F chord or the 1 chord. You got the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't forget there's a B flat here. It's a B flat chord because remember the bottom note when you're in this arrangement identifies the chord. It's a B flat chord or the subdominant chord, the 4 chord or 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's back to our good old C chord again. But in the key of F, it's the 5 chord or the dominant chord. And if we add a 7th to it, one more. Remember, we have a B flat in key of F, so we're here. It's the 5/7 chord in the key of F, or the dominant 7 chord. It works this way in every key. So here we're just using the F chord, or the 1 chord, or the tonic chord in the key of F. Here, the notes. And we have, and then the chord, and then you get the idea. Those are the only notes. All you gotta do is get the rhythm. It has a pickup beat because of 4/4 time. Did I mention 4/4? I don't remember. 4 and 1, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. That's it. Measure 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So you gotta look at both stabs together to get the full 4 beats. I wish they would do that, but they're doing it. Now measure 5. You have an A and a C, and an F and a C. Well, it's the F chord, and we just split it between the hands. The A's down here. And we have C twice. They can do that, you know. Here, and then you get the 5/7 chord here. The full 5/7 chord will be that. We're just not using all the notes. We don't have to use all the notes. These notes are what's important. So they're only using that one. So the B flat is the one note outside the 1 chord that we're using. A lot of arrangements don't do that. They'll just give you the C by itself. Here, but here they've given you the 5/7 chord. And then an A and an F, and that's tied. So hang on to that for 7 counts. Not too shabby if you just remember it's just an F chord except for the 1 B flat. And then the rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You work it out so there's no hesitations anywhere. You're okay with it. Hopefully you can play this without looking at the keyboard because you can make your adjustments. You can get this here. The position in F major is actually here. It's not here, it's here because there is a B flat in the key. So it's here. So hopefully you can do that. Then as far as the articulation goes, they lift up, lift up, lift up. You just like taking a breath. Okay. I just do the melody when I'm doing that. When I want to hear the phrasing and all that, I just do the melody. It's easier to hear. The chords, just play them. Then the dynamics. Well, again, they're giving you too much information. We don't need all this. All you need is the MF at the beginning, the mezzo forte for moderately loud. Apply it to the melody and keep everything else soft. Well, you have to figure out what the melody is, so then you may have to experiment. Where's the melody? Once you figure it out, then that's moderately soft. Everything else is in the background. So you don't need that P under those chords. Just take a pencil and scratch it out. You don't need it. You're going to do it anyway. See, and then they give you another MF. So just follow the MP at the beginning, and you don't need any other dynamic markings until you get to measure 5, and they give you the MF. That's the melody. And then you get a P to finish it off. And those are the only ones you need. You don't need all these other stuff they're giving you. So the melody is moderately soft. Soft. See, as I'm doing this, I want to hear the melody. Don't drown it out. then when you get to the pickup to measure 5, each note is just a little bit louder, up to moderate loud. Here. Left hand, keep it soft. And then another arrow to come back down to moderately soft. And that's just now melody in the left hand. So that's what we want to hear. And each one, moderately loud, now moderately soft. Now you're soft. And really at the end, it's here. That's soft. This note on the left needs to be very soft. Can you go soft? Very soft. And that's the dynamics. You need to get into it so you can feel these dynamics. As far as this speed goes, taps is played at the end of the day. You're finishing off everything. Played at funerals too, I guess. And people will play it at all kinds of different speeds. Some people will milk it for everything it's worth, but you can't do that on piano very well. Because a piano when you play a note, it just sits there and dies away. So you can't really milk that much. I mean, that's it. So don't play it too slowly. That just drags on a piano. It might work on a trumpet or a bugle or something where they can carry the tone out, but not on piano. Now I'd like to talk about this transposing thing they've got at the top. See, first you need to learn the piece first. Well, we're in F position. We're playing the notes in F chord. We can transpose this to the C or the G, either one, simply by following the chord. If I'm using the tonic chord in F, if I want to go to the key of G, I use the tonic chord in the key of G, which is here. Could be here, it could be anywhere, I don't care where it is. And all I'm doing is I'm using the same fingers. I'm just in the key of G. So you get the idea? See the key of G, this is the 5/7 chord. We're not using the, that's it. So that's it. So you do that way. Here. That's key of G. I could do it in the key of C. Just come down to the C position, and we're going to use the C chord, the tonic chord. I'm going to come up here. You play it anywhere you want, doesn't matter. Probably ought to play it together because the left hand gets the melody sometimes. It's here, and you're here. See here, I'm using the same fingers I would use in the other key. I'm just here. The 5/7 chord in the key of C, well, we're not using that note here. Here. And here. There. So I'm using the same fingers in each of these keys. I'm just in a different position, on a different chord. I'm playing in a different key. That's transposing. I don't do much of it. If you're going to accompany singers, it becomes really important because a lot of times the singers can't sing it in the key it's in. They need it taken up or taken down, and the piano player is expected to just transpose it. I've never been very good at that, but I've never accompanied that many singers either. I've accompanied a few, but they've not needed to transpose it. Now, let's get back to this piece. Pedal. They've added pedal. You don't need pedal on this piece. It's fine, but they've added it, so let's talk about it. The indication is under the bottom staff. It's that line. You got a line going down, a line going across, a line going up. The problem with pedal indications is the line's going down and the line going up is not always exactly where it belongs. That's where a teacher comes in. In this piece, they're showing the line right under the F here. That would mean you push it down with it. I'm going to suggest no. Let's play the note first and then push the pedal down immediately after you play the note. The reason is because when you use the pedal, you're releasing overtones. You see, if I play a note by itself, it sounds different than if I play it with the pedal. Because you got all these overtones going on. Well, I want to start the sound first and then release the overtones so it kind of grows out there. It's a very subtle thing, but it can be important. And it's used most of the time. Most of the time when you use pedal, you would do it this way. So you push the pedal down after you play the F, and you hold it down all the way across. And then lift it up right after you play that dotted half note there, measure 6, right there. After you play it, it overlaps, the pedal overlaps just a little bit. The overlap, the ear doesn't mind because it doesn't last just a split second. So, and that's what they're wanting you to do. And then at the end, the hands and pedal come up together. I think that really messes it up. With the pedal, it all gets mushy. Even though you're playing the same chord, it still sounds mushy. And that just is out of character for taps. Taps should be a very clean, calm piece. You don't add all these overtones to it. So I would recommend you don't use pedal on this piece. There's other pieces we can use pedal on more effectively than this piece. Also at the bottom, there's a fermata on the last measure, the last note. So you just hold that out. Actually, when you play it, you would just let it die away. However long it takes it to die, because you're soft anyway, so if you play, it doesn't take that long for it to die away on its own. This is fine. If I do it with the metronome, I'll just double it and hold it for 6 counts instead of 3 and then lift up. Let's play this together very slowly and make sure you have the right notes and rhythms. I'm going to give us 3 counts because we come in on beat 4. And I'm not going to use any pedal. You hear it better without the pedal anyway. So let's just try. I'm not going to do any dynamics now. I'm going to play both hands about the same. I need you to hear the notes. 1, ready, and go, and. 2 and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4, tie, 2, 3, hold, 2, 3, off.